Okay, so today is Unit 1, Day 8. We're almost at the end of this first unit, which is equations and inequalities. We're going to finish up with Day 9 tomorrow, and then we'll be ready for our test. But we started talking about inequalities yesterday, right? And how when we have an inequality, they have what kind of symbols?
Greater than, less than, greater than.
Right, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to. So they don't have an equal sign. They're not equations. They're called inequalities, right? Because equations have to have what sign? They got to have an equal sign, okay? So if they have a less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, it's called an inequality. So yesterday we solved basic ones. We solved them for a variable, just like an equation, but we learned that our solution was not just one specific answer. It was a whole range of answers, right? And then we demonstrated those solutions on a number line and with interval notation. Well, today we're going to get a little bit more advanced in our knowledge of inequalities, and we're going to talk about something called compound inequalities. All right? Now, there are two kinds of compound inequalities, okay? There are and inequalities, and there are or inequalities. All right, so I'm going to start with talking about or inequalities because they're really simple, and they even look really simple. And you know you have an or inequality because an or has to say the word or, okay? An or inequality actually says the word or, and it's basically just two separate inequalities that are combined with the word or, okay? So like, whoa, there's an or. This is an or problem. All right? So when you solve an or inequality, you just basically solve this one separately and get a solution, and then you come over here and solve this one and get a solution. Okay? So, and then we'll put them on a number line together, and I'll show you what that does in a minute. So in example A, the first inequality is x minus 4 is less than negative 7. How do we solve that for x? Good. Oh, what's happening wrong here? So x is less than what? Negative 3. And then, how do I solve the second one? Divide by 2. And x is greater than or equal to what? 6. And then you go back between your answers and put the word or. So or needs or in the original problem, and it also needs the word or with your solution. If it don't say the word or, it's technically wrong. Okay? All right. So we get basically two separate problems with two separate solutions for an or. That's it. It's like two problems in one. Now when we graph them, we're going to graph them on the same number line because it's a compound inequality. It's two inequalities in one. That's what compound means. All right. And you want to have at least those two numbers and the numbers in between on there. Okay? So I'm going to go like negative 4 to positive 7. So at least include those two numbers on there, and I like to go at least one space after it in both directions. All right. So after you draw your number line, you're basically just graphing both of them on the same number line. Okay? So the first one, x is less than negative 3. So negative 3, does it get an open circle or a closed circle? Open. And which way do we shade for less than? To the left. All right. And the second one says x is greater than or equal to positive 6. So I go with 6. Does 6 get an open circle or a closed circle? Closed. And which way do we shade for greater than? To the right. Now, what do you notice about these two shadings? They're opposite directions, right? So there's you a little hint. Oars shade in opposite directions. So or shade opposite, double O. It's easy to remember. So we still have to do interval notation for an or. Turn around. Face the fronts. You need to chill out. All right. So, y'all are going to make me stop my video and say something that needs to be said, but I don't want to say it. So can we just up the maturity level just a little bit, please? Thank you. I expect a lot of honors. Let me just say that. All right. So when you do your interval notation, it's like you do two separate ones, and then we're going to connect it with something. So what will we do for interval notation for this one? What's the left boundary? Negative infinity. Oops. Negative infinity with a parenthesis. Stop it. My pen is not working. So negative infinity, parentheses. What's my right boundary? Negative 3, parentheses. And then in between the two interval notations, you're going to put this big old wide looking U. It's called a union because you're combining the two. Okay? So it's called a union. And then you do the second interval notation. So what's the left boundary for this one? 6. Is it a bracket or parentheses? Because it was included, comma, what is my right boundary for that one? Infinity. So this just means I'm combining these two interval notations. Okay? Got it? So that means the solutions are anywhere that is bold on that number line. Okay? And the places that are not solutions are the places that are not bold on the number line. So is 0 a solution to that compound inequality? No. What about negative 10?
Yes.
Yes. What about positive 100?
Yes.
What about positive 6? It's included, isn't it? It's colored in. What about negative 3? No, it's not bolded. It's a boundary, but it's not bolded. Right? Y'all see it? Okay. So anything that's darkened on the number line is a solution. All right. So that's all you do. If it's an or, you solve two different problems, put them on the same number line for a graph, and then when you do the interval notations, you just put that big old wide looking U thing. Okay? That's it. So this one's an or, isn't it? Yeah. How do you solve an or? You just work them both out separately. Yeah, one at a time. So y'all take a second and copy that down. All right. So I'm just going to focus on this first one first, and then I'll come back and do the second one. So don't be trying to go back and forth between problems, okay? Finish the first one, and then do the second one, then do your number line. All right? So how do I solve this one for x? Add 14 on both sides. Very good. What's 0 plus 14?
14.
So 7x is greater than or equal to 14. Then what? Divide by 7. X is greater than or equal to positive 2. Good. I'm going to go ahead and put the word or here so I don't forget it because I have to have or with my answer. And then the second inequality says 4x plus 5 is less than or equal to negative 3. How do I solve that for x? Good. Subtract 5 everywhere. So 4x is less than or equal to negative 8. Then what? Divide by 4. And x is less than or equal to negative 2. So here's my solution. X is greater than or equal to positive 2, or x is less than or equal to negative 2. Now, it's okay that the positive number's over here and the negative number's over here. Okay, so that's going to fix itself out when I put them on the number line. Yes?
You said like always go opposite. So
When I graph it.
like you have to divide by negative. You got to divide both sides by negative.
You got to flip. No, you got to flip your sign on that one.
So you want to put something
On the one that you're dividing a negative by. Like if I divided by negative over here, I flip this one, but not this one.
But wouldn't it be different?
No.
I mean the same.
Not always. Depends on how it starts. Okay? It happens, but not always. I'm sure. I'm sure. All right, so put these on the same number line. At least these are not very far apart, are they? No. So I'm just going to go to -3 to +3. Y'all, I'm not very good on making number lines and making them evenly spaced. You see what I mean? Like some of them have like a bigger gap between them than others. I'm not very good at that. Sorry, I apologize. All right, so I'm just going to do them in order, and then we'll see they should be opposite when I finish. X is greater than or equal to +2. So I go to +2. Does +2 get an open circle or a closed circle? Closed circle. And where do I shade for greater than or equal to? To the right. So like I said, it's okay that those are not in the correct order as their number line will be. And the next one says X is less than or equal to -2. So does -2 get an open circle or a closed circle? Closed, because it's also included. And which way do I shade for that one? Left. Now, this was an OR problem, right? Are they graphed in opposite directions? Yes. So now I just have to do my interval notation. So basically, when you do your interval notation, just do it for this one, U sign, then this one. It. So what's my left boundary? So I'll use parentheses, -infinity, comma. What's my right boundary for the first one? Bracket or parentheses? Bracket. What goes in the middle for an OR? The big U. I mean, these are weird looking U's on your paper. I don't know how they do it. I'm not very good at math symbols sometimes. But it's not like a letter U. Just don't make it a little U. Make it a capital U. And it really is not like the letter U. It don't have like a line straight down. It's just a funky looking thing. So what's the left boundary on the second graph? Bracket, +2, comma, infinity. What symbol? Parentheses. And y'all, that's it for an OR. You just solve two of them, put them on the same number line. They should go in opposite directions. And for interval notation, do them separately with a U. Okay? That's an OR. So now let's talk about ands. Now, ands just look weird. Y'all see that? Copy it down and look at it. Ands look weird. They look weird. Do y'all see that this has a less than or equal to sign right here and a less than sign right here, and it's literally squished together, right? It's not two separate problems. It's one problem that shares a middle. You see that? Yeah, it's really weird, but these are really easy. They're really easy. I like ands better because it's less writing, number one. But they're just confusing because they look different. The math is really not too crazy. If you can solve a regular inequality, you can solve an and inequality. All right. Now, this is a little something about your solution. When you finish an and inequality, it needs to go the lowest number and the highest number in your solutions, and your symbols should be pointing less than or equal to. So the symbols should be pointing left. So everything needs to go least to greatest. And if it's not, you have to fix it. All right? But that's just for your answer. Now, it can start out in greater than, and if you divide or multiply both sides by a negative, then you can flip your symbol, just like any other inequality. All right? So just keep in mind that our final solution needs to have those characteristics. All right, so let's just talk about how to solve this and inequality. The x is in the middle. Y'all see that? Okay? Is the x in the middle by itself? No. So you want to get x by itself in the middle. So in a regular equation or inequality, you would do something to one side, you got to do it to the other. Well, in an and inequality, you got three sides. You got the middle and you got the left and the right. Okay? So you're going to, whatever you do to get rid of stuff with the x in the middle, you got to do it to the left and to the right as well. So you got to do it in three times. Does that make sense? Okay. So what do you think we would do mathematically to get rid of that 4? Subtract 4. So I'm going to subtract 4 in the middle. I'm going to subtract it to the right and to the left. Okay? So you just subtract 4 on all three sides, including the middle. And in the middle, it cancels out. Right? And on the left side, what's 2 minus 4? -2. Copy your less than or equal to sign. X is by itself now in the middle. Copy that less than sign. So you always just bring those symbols down just like they say. And what's 9 minus 4? +5. And as long as your x gets all the way by itself in the middle, that's your solution as long as it meets these qualifications. Is this number lower than this number? Are all my arrows pointing left? Yes. Okay, so that's telling me 2 things. This is telling me that my solutions are between -2 and +5. Okay, that's what it's telling me. Okay, so when I graph this on a number line, I like these number lines better too. I like everything about ands better. So I'm just going to do -3, -2, -1, and then I'm going to go to 6. So I go 1 over in both directions. 3, 4, 5, 6. Barely can. Made my number line a little too short. Okay, so which direction did or shade? Opposite directions. Ands are going to shade together. They're going to shade toward each other. All right? So ors go opposite, ands go together. Everybody do this with arms. Ors, ands. Ors, ands. And means together. Right? Right? Right?
Yes.
So if I say me and Kendall are going to go take something to the office, then we're sharing a job. Right? Right? Okay? We're both going to go together. Right? But if I said Kendall or I will take something to the office, are we both going to go? No. Either she's going to go or I'm going to go, but not both of us. You see the difference in and or? And is together, or is opposite. All right. So when you graph an and, it's really easy. Left boundary is -2. This says or equal to. So or equal to, does it get an open circle or closed circle? Closed. So you're going to go to -2 and just put a closed circle. Do not do an arrow yet. Does this one say or equal to? No. So 5 is going to get an open circle. And you're going to shade in the middle. Or shade opposite and shade together. Please don't erase. Yeah. There we go. It don't like me doing it, so I have to do it and stop. It thinks I'm trying to get rid of it, so I'm okay. Now watch me. Hush! Don't make fun. Technology, don't let me do it. Okay. Okay. I know. There's some white spaces in there. Okay, so y'all look. Is -15 a solution?
No.
What about 0?
Yes.
What about -2?
Yes.
What about +5?
No.
What about 4.9?
Yes.
What about 5.1?
No.
What about -2.5?
No.
What about -1.5?
Yes.
Okay, y'all see that? Anything bolded on the number line is solution. Also, interval notation to me is easier. Left boundary, right boundary. I don't have arrows going to infinity, do I?
No.
So when you have an and, you're not going to have an infinity. Okay? So left boundary is -2, bracket or parentheses. Bracket, -2, comma, right boundary is 5, bracket or parentheses. Parentheses because it's not included. Okay? See why I like ands better? Yeah. They're less writing. Number lines go together. You just have to look at the numbers and graph them together. And then I like the interval notation better too. It's not bad at all. I think it's kind of fun, but I'm a little crazy. I'm a little crazy. All right, look at D. They're getting a little complicated on us. Negative 16 is less than or equal to 3x minus 4 is less than or equal to 2. Is this one an and or an or? How do you know? It don't say or. An or has to say or. Right? Right? Plus the share in the middle. So on your practice and on your test next week, it's not going to say these are all ands. These all are all ors. Okay? You got to know by looking at it, and or or. Okay? You got to know by looking at it, it's an and or an or. So we want to get x in the middle by itself, and it's got 3x minus 4 in there all together. So what are you going to do first to get x by itself? Yeah, if it confuses you to know what you do first, just cover up this with your hand and pretend it's just this part. Does that make sense? And that'll let you know what to do first. So add 4 on all three sides. So what is negative 16 plus 4? Is less than or equal to 3x. Is less than or equal to what number? 6. Y'all with me now? Now how do we get x by itself? Divide it all by 3. Do it on all three sides. Do we flip? Nope, because 3 is positive. Good. And then we just divide everywhere. What's negative 12 divided by 3? Is less than or equal to x. Is less than or equal to what? Positive 2. And are my numbers least to greatest? Yep, and everything's pointing to the left. So that's a good solution. All right, number line. Oopsie. Negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2. If your numbers are really spread out, now these are fairly close together, but if your numbers are like really spread out, I'm okay if you like going by 2s or something on your number line. Does that make sense? Or 5s or whatever you need to do. I would say, what does your practice do? Does it have the numbers for you? It goes by 2 like page 6 did? I was looking at page 3. Yeah. Okay, it already has them on there and it goes by 2s. Good deal. So, negative 4, does it get an open circle or a closed circle? Because that one says or equal to. What about positive 2? Because it says or equal to. And where do we shade a and? Yeah, and goes together. So, shade them in the middle. And I got to do my squiggles because it won't let me do side to side. Yes. True. And if it's not, then it won't be. So this time our boundaries are both included, aren't they? Right? So my solutions are every number between negative 4 and positive 2, including negative 4 and positive 2. Right? So for interval notation, what's the left boundary? Bracket. Negative 4, comma, right boundary. 2 with a bracket. Very good. So no infinities on ands. Right? I like them too. Let's do this one more, then you guys are going to try some. Is this one an and or an or? And. Good job. So we want to get x in the middle to be by itself. So how do you think we're going to do that? Add 1 to both sides. Very good. Or all 3 sides, I should say. So what's negative 7 plus 1? Negative 6 is less than negative x is less than what number? 4. Now what do I need to do to get x by itself? Okay, we're doing inequalities and we're dividing by a negative, so we're going to have to do what? Flip our signs. I'm going to go ahead and do that and put my in the middle. And let's divide those numbers. What's negative 6 divided by negative 1? Positive 6. And what is 4 divided by negative 1? Negative 4. Do we see a problem? Everything's backwards. Y'all see that? Everything's backwards. So, to fix it, y'all, it's kind of like you snake it. Like you put this here, then this, and like you just go in order going around. Does that make sense? So you just reverse everything. So put the lowest number on the left, and this symbol goes with that. Okay, so if this one has or equal to, when you make it less than, you make it less than or equal to this one. That would have been a better example. But anyway, but yeah, so whatever symbol is with this, if it's or equal to, you flip it. So you basically flip everything. Does that make sense? Except for the x stays in the middle. If you think about it, just write it backwards, snaking it this way. Okay? So you flip everything. Now that's a good way to write our solution, right? All right, I'm going to go over here because I'm out of space. Number line, I'm going to go by 2s. That's okay with you guys. Negative 6, negative 4, negative 2, 0, 2, 4. I got to go one more. Sugarfoot. My negatives always get more space than my positives. All right, does negative 4 get an open circle or a closed circle? Open. What about positive 6? Open, and where do we shade ands? In the middle. Are my boundaries included this time? No, neither one of it is. So sometimes you'll have both included or both not included, and sometimes you have one of each. So you just got to pay attention to whether you have or equal to's or not. So my left boundary is what? Negative 4 with a what? Parentheses, comma, what's my right boundary? 6 with a parentheses. That means my solutions are between those two numbers, but not including those numbers, right? All right, so for your practice real quick, I'm giving you these two problems, but one's an and, one's an or, and I'm not telling you which is which. Shh. Work them both, please. Work them both. Do the number line and the interval notation, please. Let me know if you're stuck. Sometimes that helps me if it's like that. If the ands get a little bit too congested, just cover up that side over there. If you're done, you can go ahead and talk about it with neighbor. Need help? Let me or somebody else have done. No. What? Four is supposed to go in opposite direction. So less than or equal to negative four should be going this way. Greater than two should be going that way. Yeah.
Wait, so do I just swap my? No, well, no, because that's what's number line.
Kevin. Yes, sir. Okay, or, okay, less than 2. And then same thing here. So then it should work out.
No, I copied it wrong. Like, I worked it out.
Oh, no.
We checked that.
This one's so, yeah. Just leave yours. Okay. All right, friends. Y'all are doing some good things. Y'all are doing some good things. And y'all, we're just practicing, right? Y'all just now learned the stuff, so don't be hard on yourself if you're not getting it like perfect every time yet, okay? It's practice. Test is not till next Wednesday, so that's what we're doing is getting ready for that, right? As long as you're practicing, then I have no complaints whatsoever, all right? So, number 1, is it an and or an or? How do you know? It don't say or. Very good. So, let's distribute in the middle, right? Right? Okay, so keep negative 2 is less than what goes in the middle? Minus is less than or equal to 4. Does everybody get that when they distributed? Now you need x in the middle by itself, so what do? Add 12 everywhere. Those cancel. What's negative 2 plus 12? 10 is less than, what's left in the middle? 2x is less than or equal to, what's on the right side? 16. Now how do you get x by itself? Divide everywhere by 2. What's 10 divided by 2? 5 is less than x is less than or equal to 8. Right? Did everybody get that for the solution? All right. Then on the number line, oops. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Does 5 get an open circle or a closed circle?
Open.
Does 8 get an open or a closed? And where do we shade for ands? In the middle. Does y'all's number line look like mine? And what's the interval notation? Parentheses, 5, comma, 8 bracket. Raise your hand if you got number 1 correct. Are there any questions? You fixed it. Hey, you're good. Number 2, is it an and or an or? How do you solve an or? You just do them separate, right? So I'm going to do the first one first. What do we have to do first on the first one to solve for x? Distribute. So I'm going to get negative 6x minus 3 is less than negative 15, correct? Then what? Add 3. So negative 6x is less than. And then what? And what do we do with an inequality when we flip it? Flip the sign. So x is greater than negative 2. Did I do something wrong? Oh, okay, that's what I thought. I didn't think that was what we were getting when I was looking at everybody's work. Yeah, I forgot my negative over here. Okay, just make sure you divide by negative, you flip your sign. I'm going to go ahead and write the word or right here in case I forget it, because we got to have ors with our answers. So on the second one, how do I get x by itself? Subtract 1, and then I have negative x is greater than or equal to 4, and then I'll do what? And if I divide by a negative, I have to, I'm going to put my answer down here. X is less than or equal to negative 4. Did y'all get that? So I had to flip both of them, right? Okay. So, number line. Which way should or shade? I'm going to do even numbers if that's okay with y'all, because that's what your homework's going to do it anyway. So does positive 2 get an open circle or a closed circle? And that one says to shade x is greater than 2. Which way does it go for greater? To the right. So this is another one where they're in opposite orders. Y'all see that? Like the positive ones on the right and negatives on the left. All right, so -4, open circle or closed? Closed. And which way do we shade for less than? Left. So are these going in opposite directions for me? All right. And then last thing we like is interval notation. So remember interval notation for an or is you just do them separately and then do the U, right? Okay. So left boundary on the first arrow. Left boundary. Yes. So parentheses, negative infinity, comma, bracket, because that one's included, right? Union. What is the left boundary on this one? Parentheses, 2, comma, infinity, parentheses. Raise your hand if you got that one right. All right. One more crazy example. Can y'all just watch me? Or if you want to write it down, because you might have one in your practice. Yeah, have one fraction in your practice. Well, 2 fractions, but one with an and. Well, you have 3 fractions, but one with an and. All right. So on this one, let's just review this, what we do with fractions, and here's what you do with the fraction with an and. Okay? Right? Because we know this is an and, right? Right? It's an and. How do we know it's an and? It doesn't say or, and the x is in the middle, and I got 2 symbols, right? So how do we get that x by itself first? Subtract 1 everywhere. So that's going to get me -2 is less than 2/3 x is less than or equal to 4. How do I get rid of 2/3? Multiply by the reciprocal, which is 3/2. Now, if I do it in the middle, I need to do it on all my places, right? All 3 sides. So the middles cancel. I need to put whole numbers over 1, don't I? Yeah? And y'all can do that cross cancel reducing thing, right? On this side, the 2's will cancel because they both make 1, right? Well, that's -3 actually, right? So -3. I didn't multiply by -3/2, so I keep it less than. X is by itself now. Now what cancels over here? 2 and 4 are both divisible by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is, and multiply across, 6/1 is 6. And then you finish from there. Is that okay? I'm not going to do the number line because I know we know how to do those. So is that okay? So fractions multiply both sides by the reciprocal. All right. There are a bunch of you that haven't taken the quiz from yesterday, right? Okay. So let's just talk about that quiz. For one thing, number 8, I worked the quiz and I was like, we didn't do one like number 8. So guess what I did with number 8? I made it a bonus. Okay? Okay? So it's basically like, so if you missed number 8, I didn't count it against you and I made it a bonus if you got it right. Okay?
Thank goodness.
It said it was the consecutive even integers and it was equal to something crazy instead of a number. So I apologize. So I'm like, some people got it right. So I was like, okay, bonus. All right? No, it was Miss Isabel not working your quiz out before I gave it to you and not realizing it. So I apologize. So I spared you 15 points there. Okay? Okay.
That's what we had to do.
Well, it was, yeah, but then you had to do something else to it. It's not just equal to a number. Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't count it against anyone. So that was free 10 points. And if you got it right, I gave you 5 points. So you could have made a 105. All right. That was it. Some of you, okay, let's just review this real quick. I don't remember what the exact problem said, and I'm not going to write the exact problem because some people haven't taken the quiz yet. But it was like something to this effect. I don't even know it was in the bars. I'm making this up. Do not say this was in the problem because it was not. And they saw that and they said, not possible.
Yeah.
I don't flip nothing. It's an equation. All right. Y'all, you cannot say, y'all listen. You cannot say an absolute value is not possible to solve if you don't have the bars by themselves. I'm still recording. Let me stop that. That's the end of notes for today. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know where my pen is. There it is. I'll edit the end.